And finally, tonight on InfoWars Nightly News, we're going to break down and analyze what is some of the most thought-provoking propaganda that we have ever seen in 20 years of operation. I'm talking, of course, about the blockbuster film that made over $105 million on its opening weekend, produced and directed by Hollywood icon of icons, legend, Clint Eastwood. I've been a big fan of Clint Eastwood since I grew up watching spaghetti westerns with my folks, and I agree with many of the political views of Clint Eastwood. That said, the film is very upsetting when you know the admitted facts surrounding Chris Kyle, the American sniper's life, and the book that he wrote so it would be produced into a Hollywood film. Please keep an open mind here, because I'm not attacking Chris Kyle. I'm not attacking Clint Eastwood. I'm attacking a known Pentagon system that creates fables, that creates stories, that creates legends to manipulate the public mind. Now, before I get into the film itself and my review and breakdown, it's important to note that in a few minutes we'll play a clip of where I actually had a discussion with Chris Kyle shortly before he was killed outside Dallas, Texas. So I've talked to Mr. Kyle on air, and I've also talked to some of his friends and family. But before I get into this current case, I want to look at some past cases where we've caught corrupt elements inside the Pentagon engaging in serious deception. First, let's look at the case of Pat Tillman, who I see as a real hero. Gave up a lucrative contract to go join his brother fighting who he believed was involved in the September 11th attacks. He began to write home to family and friends saying this whole war is a fraud and we're helping him grow the drugs and it's a scam. I'm going to come home and expose it. Well, they executed him, then claimed he was a hero who died charging a machine gun nest fighting Al-Qaeda. It later came out, because the Army coroner wouldn't lie, that he'd been killed by friendly fire in an apparent homicide. Now, pay attention to this pattern. Pat Tillman was worth billions in Army and Pentagon recruiting money. They couldn't allow him to then turn against it, so he had to be taken out, because this pattern repeats over and over again. Remember Private Jessica Lynch? It even came out that Jerry Bruckheimer, the Hollywood producer, was on sat phone directing how to save her at the hospital, which they knew the Iraqis had pulled out 3 days previous. They gave her credit for battling this column of Iraqis in her supply truck as the men cowered in fear. Well, the men began to speak out and say, we actually fought them. She hid in the back in fear. So not one, not two, not three, but 4 different members who were actually in the firefight all ended up dying, getting shot in the head, being found dead in their cars, being found in a puddle of water, because dead men tell no tales. Then Private Lynch went public in a press conference and said, it's all a fraud. I was told to lie, to put out a book, to put out a movie. They already had Hollywood deals to come out and show her as this hero, to recruit women into the military, and to sell the military on the idea of putting women in frontline combat.
All I know is I don't believe that Jesse Ventura said you deserve to lose a few. But as soon as he said the thing on O'Reilly and stuff about, yeah, he said you deserve to die, you guys deserve to die, when the family's right there, that is made up, period. I knew it was bull then.
I feel the opinion that he said exactly what I thought he heard, and I feel horrible about it coming out the way it had, and I'm sorry I handled it the way I did on your show. I guess I should have just denied it and said, I don't know what you're talking about.
And again, right now he sounds like a nice guy, so I'm completely blown away by this, because Ventura sounds credible. You know, Kyle, right now sounds calm and nice, and I mean, I don't know what kind of psyop this is or what this is.
Just as with Pat Tillman or with Jessica Lynch, when the asset, when the front man's story is compromised, they kill members of the unit who aren't playing ball, or they kill the front person if they don't go along with it. Now, we don't know what really happened with Chris Kyle, but even before he was dead, we had reporters on the ground in Boston, and we had the surveillance footage that showed men wearing the uniform of his security company, Kraft International, with the Punisher symbol, with the blood dripping, wearing their uniforms and having black backpacks. And we never said that they were involved in the bombing. We surmised that they were probably called in to run security because there may have been intel that there was going to be a terror attack. The media then spun that and claimed that we were saying they were terrorists. So that let us know that we were on target, that they were putting this type of disinformation out. Then MSNBC came out claiming the Zarneb brothers bombed and that I had actually influenced them with no evidence. So you need to understand, anytime you get near Chris Kyle or Kraft International or anything they're involved in, there's massive controversy going on. And that's because we know Navy SEALs and private contractor groups made up of SEALs, like Blackwater and others, are used as intelligence group cutouts and a lot of time are used for patsies or decoys. Ladies and gentlemen, I live this. I didn't just debate Chris Kyle. I'm not just friends with Jesse Ventura. I didn't just cover the Boston bombing with our reporters on ground and break the major stories of what appeared to be Kraft International on the ground, and then they wouldn't deny it. I lived here in Austin and saw with my own eyes the city shut down for much of a day while Chris Kyle's body was brought in to be buried and as he was built up as the ultimate hero. This thing has all the signs of scripting from the start to the finish, and it needs to be investigated to really discover who Chris Kyle was and why he was actually killed. This thing stinks to high heaven. And then you go and sit in the theater and watch the movie, and he loves Muslims, and he wants to help them, and he wants to get al-Qaeda people to come join him to fight the terrorists, and he's such a sweet person that gets along great with his wife. When the court records show it's the opposite, and they were divorced, and he was setting up these companies to try to transfer his assets into them, and none of it is true from our research, as best we can tell. It's just not true. He didn't call up crying when he had to shoot people. He was quoted in the news, in radio interviews, in TV interviews, saying that the enemy are despicable savages and that he only regrets he didn't kill more. He made those statements in his best-selling book, American Sniper. Now, look, I'm not criticizing him like Michael Moore is, saying that any sniper is a coward. Snipers are targeted. It's a very dangerous job, highly skilled. I don't think snipers are cowards. I think they're some of the best people in the military when it comes to pure skills. But Chris Kyle did like to brag about killing people. He did show a lot of unsavory traits that I haven't seen in other operators that I personally know who will not talk about the people they've killed. And the system will purge people that have been willing servants of the system like Chris Kyle. Did he get a conscience at the end? Was he deciding that he was going to come clean? We'll never know. Because now, sitting there in the movie theater, at the end, you get to see everyone cry when they show real footage of his funeral when he's buried like George Washington or something. This is part of living in this modern propaganda state. And people need to cut through the emotion and look at the cold, hard truth. It's propaganda and lies that's killing America. A truly moral nation has the high ground and doesn't need disinformation, doesn't need brainwashing to convince the population to go along with the government. The truth is America has been captured by offshore globalist interests, and we're losing our country. The real heroes are the men and women everywhere that stand up for our Bill of Rights and our Constitution and actually stand up for what the American flag symbolizes. As for Clint Eastwood, I hope this is just the fact that he's senile. But this film is so well done, I know that's not the truth. Clint Eastwood has decided to have the biggest hit of his life based on a lie. And in the end, I think it hurts his reputation. I think it hurts his legacy. And for that, I'm sad. Well, that's it for this extended breakdown tonight of American Sniper. I'll be back tomorrow live on the radio, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central Standard Time with a syndicated radio broadcast. And please, never forget, if you're watching this transmission, you are the resistance.
City of Austin tap water versus filtered City of Austin tap water. I can like taste dirt in it.
God knows what's in this.
This has an aftertaste.
Tastes like Austin water? Yeah, it does. Ugh.
These people just sampled City of Austin tap water straight from the faucet. Next, we had them try a sample of tap water filtered through the ProPure G2.0 filtration system.
High quality H2O.
That one is better.
Tastes like nothing.
Yep, I know what good water tastes like. It's good water.
Most tap water contains added substances like fluoride, chlorine, Monsanto's deadly pesticide, glyphosate, and many others. Studies prove that these substances are linked to an assortment of major health issues, including tooth decay, lowered IQ, and even cancer.
It tastes like you're drinking out of the lake when you're drinking tap water.
Yeah, it has that processed flavor to it.
The ProPure G2.0 filtration system removes these deadly substances and many more, leaving only fresh-tasting, deliciously clean water.
Okay, this is very tasty.
It's good water.
Refreshing.
It's good.
Go to InfoWarsStore.com today. Use promo code WATER and save 10% off your ProPure purchase. Again, that's InfoWarsStore.com or call 1-888-253-3139.
You are watching the InfoWars Nightly News, which airs 7 p.m. Central at InfoWarsNews.com. And your support is helping us defend liberty worldwide.